Today, Alec and I will be doing an all-time Blues draft. We're going to take turns selecting the best players in Blues history to try and build the best team possible. Which players will we take and who's going to build a better team? You have to stay tuned to find out on today's episode of Note News. All right, we're still in the thick of the NHL offseason. We're recording here on July 31st, so news is a little skimp in the NHL, especially for the Blues, who are having a more modest offseason. And that means that Alec and I get to do some fun things. So how's your summer going, Alec? How are you coping with the lack of news for the NHL offseason?
I was sitting in St. Louis natives. I was at Lester's the other day,
Mhm.
and we had I don't remember, oh, they had the Cardinals game on, but there was NHL Network on one of the TVs, and it just filled me with this rush of like nostalgia and just like aching of I miss hockey.
Yeah,
So got some good barbecue though, but
yeah.
good enjoying the Olympics too. I'm a big Olympics guy, although more so
Mhm.
winter than summer. But I do
Yeah.
love watching the competitions and having a lot of fun there.
Yeah, there's fun going on in sports right now, just not with hockey really. Um,
No,
but yeah, as we said, we're gonna get to do some fun things. So today's fun thing is an all-time Blues draft. So we're gonna see who can build the better team. Before we get started, if you've enjoyed Note News so far, please give this video a like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, rate the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We're going to try to be bringing you content regularly throughout the off season, once a week, and so um, you know engaging with us that way really helps us as we look to build up and get into the full swing of the season come October. Um, so first, let's talk a little bit about like the rules of the draft, how we're going to do it. So we're going to do a straight draft back and forth, round robin. It doesn't make much sense to do a snake draft with just two people. Um, we're going to do let's see, 12 picks each. It'll be a 12 round draft. We're going to draft two lines, like two of every position. So a starting six, and then the second six after that. So um, and also it's just going to be the player's tenure exclusively with the St. Louis Blues. So that means if you draft Gretzky, you only get the half season of production when he was 35 years old. You don't get prime Gretzky or Gretzky's whole career. You just get his Blues tenure. So that's the rule. That's what we're going to do today. Um, and first, we have to decide draft order. Alec, do you want heads or tails?
um, I'll go tails.
Tails. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here because the people have to see the coin flip. They have to know that I'm honest
Mm,
here. I found this super cool and advanced looking um, coin flip website. So we're just gonna do that. So you said tails. All right, here we go.
Tails it is.
It's heads. Achievement unlocked. Baby steps. That's what the website says. All right. The website came up heads, which means I get to go first. This is our draft board. We're gonna do it old-fashioned way, Excel. Um, and as I said, we'll be doing 24 picks. There we go. We are filled out. All right.
And
Let's get
for
into
those
it.
audio only, John did program his own website to ensure that he wins the coin toss. So a good start for us in the draft here.
Strong start. I'm excited for that my devious scheme worked so well. I think it'll be um, very helpful for me. Let me get hockey reference pulled up here. Um, I don't think there's that much of an argument to be made here for number one. I'm gonna go with Brett Hull. So I'm gonna go ahead and write him in here. Um, and let's see. Oh, I got to put the position in as well. Be my right winger. For those that maybe aren't so familiar with like Blues history, I think it's pretty safe to say he's the
That's the
greatest.
name you got to know.
It's the name you got to know. The greatest Blue ever. He is like the franchise leader in goals with 527. He doesn't lead in points, but he, as I said, leads in goals. Um, what else? What else? He's second all time in assists with 409. Second all time in points with 936. Just crazy elite. And he was with the Blues. He was traded from Calgary, right, in the 87-88 season, and stuck with the Blues until 97-98. So a long tenure with the Blues. He won the Hart Trophy, the MVP, in 1990 and 91. Was selected for multiple All-Star teams. He won the Lady Byng Trophy in 89-90. So, really elite player. So I'm gonna be taking him with the first overall pick. No surprise, I don't think.
Hmm.
All
In
right,
that
Alec.
heart-winning season, he did
Yeah,
also set the franchise record for goals at 86 goals in a
yeah,
season.
that's
So
right.
that is just how
Yeah,
dominant he was.
yeah, and then the year before was 72 goals, and the year after was 70, and I think he was leading the league in goals for those 3 consecutive years. Um, yeah, as you said, crazy elite.
Yeah,
Um,
no
yeah,
doubt.
so no surprise there. I'll be taking him number one overall. Alec, goes to you. And I think for like pick time, I think we could just, we don't have to set a time or anything, but 1 to 2 minutes
Yeah.
or something like that to make your decision. Maybe less. 30
Well,
seconds.
I have a pretty easy job with Brett Hull
Yeah.
off the board here. I'll take the franchise leader in games played and assists and points. Who Hull does have him beat in rate stats. Brett Hull just didn't get as many games. But in about 100 more games, he was able to accrue about 100 more points than Hull. So I'll go with Bernie Federko on mine.
All right.
Just another all-time great. Um, Pretty much is either first or second in most career statistics for the Blues.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, an all-time forward. There's really not a lot to be said about
Yeah.
his career, similar to like Brett Hull. This is kind of a name you have to know. Played with the Blues his entire career, except his last year, made a pit stop in Detroit. The Detroit Blues were a thing, apparently, even back in 1989. But his career spanned from 76 to 90, and his career at the Blues spanned from 76 to 89. Multiple Lady Byng votes, couple years with Hart votes, all-star teams, the whole package. So
Mm-hmm.
had a couple 100-point seasons, never quite reached the 80 goal mark, but certainly put up assist numbers and was a consistent 30 goal scorer, even hitting 41 in 1984. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I would say probably a pretty easy pick for me there.
Yeah, no doubt. Um, cool. So he'll slot in at your, first center position there. Okay, so now comes a decision for me. I might not be that much of a decision, but I just want to I just want to make sure I'm making the right decision is all. So I think I'm going to take a defenseman. We talked a little bit before about how um, the Blues don't have like a strong history of elite defensemen. Um, it's really just between one or the other here. I'm trying to decide between Al McInnes and Chris Pronger. Um, let's see. I might have to go with McInnes here. It's probably the better choice. He's got him beat in goals and assists.
Is that your selection?
I'm gonna go with Al McInnes. Yeah,
I think that's the
um,
right pick.
I think so too. He's just got that like
Unfortunately,
iconic shot. That sorry, I can't type and talk at the same time. Finish typing here. Yeah, he just got that iconic shot that goalies were so afraid to face. In terms of like franchise, um, like where he ranks among the entire franchise, he's got 127 goals, which is not a whole lot, but um, he does have, let's see, the assists. He's got 325 assists, which is good for fifth all time. I don't know. I'm just talking um, offensive stats here. He's got 452 points, 11th all time, or no, 10th all time. Sorry. Yeah, just elite defenseman. He is second overall in plus minus with 132 plus 132. Um, yeah, it could be a tough decision for some people, but I think that's probably the right one. Yeah, I'm going to take McInnes there with the third overall pick.
I agree. I think McInnes is the right pick. I think he was a more complete defenseman overall, really strung to a game throughout his career. Whereas my next selection for positional scarcity,
Mm-hmm.
mostly, but also just a great player to have. I'll take Chris Pronger. Mostly more of an offensive guy throughout his career, although he had a couple seasons in like the late '90s, early 2000s, where he was just a monster.
Yeah,
Um, he's the franchise leader in plus minus, but
yeah.
um, yeah. So um, traded to the Blues in '95 and played with the club for 9 years. His last year was in 2004. Actually won the Hart in 2000 with just an
Mm-hmm.
unbelievable season. He had a plus minus of 52 and was just unstoppable, playing 26 minutes, 35 seconds a game as for his average time on ice. Truly, and that was on one of the best teams in the NHL that year, although obviously they couldn't go all the way. Yeah, I mean, if you took McInnes, I can't let you have both Pronger and McInnes. I got to get a
Yeah.
defender here, and Pronger's definitely the next one up. He just got his number retired. I want to say 2 years ago, though it might have been last year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, although, yeah, McInnes finished his career a lot earlier, but another Hall of Famer, and I'm happy to have him on my team. That's for sure.
Yeah. So I wasn't quite listening. Did you already talk about his 99-2000 season?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Just the fact, he won a Norris and a Hart in the same season is pretty impressive. Great season there. Also, real quick, since I didn't talk a whole lot about Al McInnes, I just wanted to mention he did um, win a Norris Trophy with the Blues in 98, 99. So they had those back-to-back Norris Trophy
Norris
winners.
winners. Yep.
So good stuff from those two for the Blues. Unfortunately, in terms of defensemen, it doesn't go very far beyond those two. Okay,
Hmm.
so we got the first four picks out of the way. I didn't do a very good job of preparing my next pick. Let's see here. Since I don't think we're gonna go for another defenseman for a little while, I might have to. Thought about going for a goalie, but I think I'm gonna wait for that. It's a little early. Let's see. I think I'm leaning towards Brian Sutter right now. That's what I'm looking at. Looking at his stats here. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go with Brian Sutter as my.
Sniping my pick again.
Yes, sir. That's the benefit of when you rig the coin toss to go in your favor. You're gonna have to think ahead next time. So Sutter is number 3 in Blues history in total points with 636 behind Federico and Hull. He scored 303 career goals, which is third all time for the Blues. 333 assists, which is fourth all time for the Blues. Um, He was drafted by the Blues in, I think 1976 is what I'm seeing, um, and spent his entire career in St. Louis. So from 76, 77 season all the way through 87, 88. Never like won a major award or anything like that. He did finish, let's see, sixth in Hart voting in 84, 85. He had 37 and 37 that year. So had some really good seasons in there. Like looking at his hockey reference page, he never like I said, won a big award or led the entire league in anything, but was pretty consistent, consistently good throughout his career, especially from like the 78, 79 season through the 84, 85 season, consistently scoring um, goal totals in the 30s or higher. 79, 80 was 23, but his career high in one season was 46 goals, which is, pretty solid. His career high in points was 83 in 1983. So 83 and 83. So yeah, I'll take him. He'll be my left winger. Got some pretty good top line wingers right now. Feeling pretty good about that. So over to you, Alec. Your pick now.
Now, I am between two, and I got to take a look at my team here. So, right now, I got Bernie Federko at my 1C and Chris Pronger as my top defenseman.
Yeah, let me show it real quick for people watching on video. This is sort of what we're looking at for the teams. I got this little this little spreadsheet graphic pulled up here.
I think I am between three guys, and I
All right.
thought I knew who I was going to pick, but now I'm kind of second guessing myself. Trying to think about positional scarcity as well as just importance in general.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to eliminate him. I'm between two centers.
Okay.
And one had a really good offensive game and one had a really good defensive game.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there are enough defensive forwards in this draft that I'm going to go offensive, and I'm going to pick Gary Unger. So
Okay.
Gary Unger played in the dark days of the NHL, the medieval times of the 1960s and 70s. This is when, clips were still in black and white. Goalies were wearing brown pads always, and sometimes they didn't even have helmets. So definitely a different league. But even if you look at his raw production or his rate stats, they still do very much favor him. So in total points in a career, Unger ranks fourth in the on the Blues all time. I also should go over his career. He played in the NHL from 1967 to 1983, and he
Mm-hmm.
played with the Blues from 1971 until 1979. As I said, in that time, put up 575 points and played in 662 games, scoring 292 goals. In his time with the Blues, in full seasons of play, starting in 1971-72, these are his goal totals, and I'm just going to go down the line here. 36, 41, 33, 36, 39, 30, 32, 30. So it doesn't really get much more consistent than that. He was a goal scorer.
Yeah.
It didn't look like he had the best defensive game, but the NHL was just so different then
Mm-hmm.
that it's really hard to judge that based on now. Also, there aren't stats for like things like time on ice, which is
Yeah.
something that I would look at
Right.
when determining that. But you know, but even if we go to like adjusted goals or adjusted goals created on Hockey Reference, Gary Unger is still fourth in adjusted goals, and he is fifth in adjusted goals created. So he was
Mm-hmm.
a truly elite offensive player, and I'll take him. So, question for you, John. I'm slotting
Yeah.
him in as my 2C for now.
Yeah.
But if like I get someone later that I'd rather have at center, would you allow me to kick him out to wing, or do I have to lock him in now?
Let's see. Um, Trying to like see he has any like two-way eligibility. Like hockey reference just says he was a center. Did he play wing?
Um, it's hard to say.
I hmm. That's tough. That's a tough one. I feel like we should say I'm just I yeah, let's have some flexibility. If you pick someone up later and you would rather have them.
All
I
right.
want to hear your argument for it though.
Okay.
You gotta
Okay.
tell me how that player will be used. You gotta tell me how you're gonna coach him.
Yeah, don't worry. I
All
got
that
the
stuff.
scheme drawn up already.
All right, all right, all right. That's good. Um, cool. Gary Unger is your pick there. I am thinking I need to pick up a center as well. Let's see. Wayne Gretzky. He looks like an interesting one. No.
Mm,
Um, let's see. I wish there was a way to filter out by position and
mm-hmm.
not just skater or goalie. I'm between like three, I think, right now. Um, ooh, interesting. Let's see here. Looking at my team, I've got two wingers and a defenseman. Is it early enough or late enough to go goalie? I don't think so. So I do think I want to get a center here. And looking at who's left, we've got like Adam Oates, Red Berenson, Pierre Turgeon. I'm just trying to. Ooh, you know what I might do? In fact, this is probably what I'll do. I'm gonna look at the people that have that dual eligibility on our little spreadsheet.
Mm, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take. Oh, yeah, okay, no, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take Keith Kachuk
Yeah. Fair
and
enough.
slot him in as my center. I believe he's like a left wing / center, but I'm gonna put him in as my center, my top line center. And then, all right, there's my top line. It's set. I've got Sutter on the left, Kachuk playing center, and Hull playing the right wing. I'm feeling pretty good about that top line. Al McInnes is my number one defenseman. So now it is your pick. We can move it
I'm
along here.
building up the middle.
You've got your middle set up with Federico and Unger, and then Chris Pronger is your number one defenseman. So action to you, Alec. It is you're on the clock here.
All right. I'm going between a couple guys, mostly a lot of recent guys. I
Yeah.
think there's some really interesting names, but I think given my team, how it's lining up, I like a really solid game, and I really think that this pick could set that over the top. Additionally, in terms of positional scarcity, um, also, I just want this guy on my team. Maybe my favorite player to watch growing up.
Uh-oh.
I mean, when when I saw him lift the Stanley Cup, I did shed a tear or two. So I'm gonna
All
go
right.
with Alex Petrangelo,
Yeah.
and I want that defense shored up. I really have no worries now with Petrangelo and Pronger, two number
Mm-hmm.
one elite defensemen of their time. And especially, I mean, as a blue was Petrangelo's best years and most of his years for sure. Um, leads he's top 10 in so many categories for the Blues all time. Oops.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, really was the face of that 2010s team who, as I just wrote about actually in my recent piece on Bleeding Blue, you guys can go check it out. The Blues are the winningest team, so most wins and most points percentage in the Western Conference since 2010. So since 2010, the St. Louis Blues, our St. Louis Blues, have been the best NHL team in the Western Conference. And I would argue that Petrangelo was the face of that, probably.
Mm.
So also, I want him on my team because it's first hockey jersey I ever owned, and my favorite player. So give me Alex Petrangelo.
I think that's a good pick in terms of like playing the positional scarcity game here. Let's see. I think I might play a similar game with positional scarcity. See who's left. As of right now, I am eyeing one of the two Plager brothers.
Mm.
Um, but is it late enough to take one of them? That is an interesting point that you made about, or interesting stat you brought up about winning percentage. Just like some, or the Blues being so successful since 2010, just like brings up some interesting points to make about the strategy of trying to always stay in it, right? Rather than like the tank and rebuild mode
Mm-hmm.
of building a team. Let's see. I think it's too early to take one of the Plager brothers. I mean, like the defensemen are just so
I do
low.
think there's a drop off after
Yeah,
Petrangelo.
yeah, there is. So the next question is, do I take the first goalie with my pick with ninth overall? I think I might. Let me see who we got. So tell me again what you were saying about Jordan Bennington. You mentioned it before, just while I'm looking here. Tell the people your
Well,
thoughts.
yeah. So we were when like preparing for this episode, we were talking about goalies, and the Blues don't have the most extensive goalie history. It is my belief, and I don't think this is a particularly hot take. I think Jordan Bennington, by the end of his career, will end up being the best goalie in Blues history. Now, is he that right now? Probably not. I just don't think he has the playing time or accolades for it. But going over some of his stats, he's got 145 wins, which is third all time, and he needs six more to pass or to tie, seven more to pass. Which, boy, I sure hope he gets 7 wins in this season. So this coming season, Jordan Bennington will, barring injury, I guess, will be the franchise leader in wins. Additionally, right now he is at for his career at a 908 save percentage, which places him sixth all time.
Hmm.
And a couple of the guys ahead of him don't nearly have the games played that he does. Yeah, I mean he's been a really productive goalie in his somewhat short tenure with the Blues so far. Let's see. To this point, he's only played 7 seasons with the Blues, and if he plays out his contract, he's still got a couple more. Also, we've only seen him get better, but even if he just continues to play at the level that he has stuck at, he'll be the franchise leader in wins. He'll be top 5 in save percentage. Goals against average don't favor him, but also goals against average franchise is kind of a busted stat because the offensive environment in the league has just changed so much since like the 80s and beyond. The franchise leaders are mostly players from like the 60s and 70s when again just hockey was so different. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, I do believe Binnington will end up being the Blues' best goaltender in franchise history. I just don't think he's quite there yet, but I would say probably 2 or 3 more seasons of this level. And if he gets better, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind.
It's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting take there. That would probably change, right? If um, something happened like we've been talking about, and he got traded away. Of course. So
Which
I thought
seems
I,
unlikely at this point.
which right, which seems unlikely. thought I had come to a decision, and I changed my mind because I was looking at Jacques Plante, I think is how you say his last name.
Mhm.
He won the Vesna 1, 2, 3, 5 years in a row, and I was like, "Holy cow, that's so easy!" But then I forgot he won those all with Montreal. So um, he did win one Vesna with the Blues in 68, 69. He was playing a long time ago and was very good, but his Blues tenure was a little more brief and not quite so good. I'm gonna go ahead and take. I'm comparing two other people. I'm gonna take Curtis Joseph. Um,
Okay. Nice.
he spent his first count 'em up, count 'em up, count 'em up, count quick, 6 seasons with the Blues from um, the 89-90 season through the 94-95 season. Um, didn't win the Vezina at all, but did finish in third place in 92-93 and fourth place the following year in 93-94. He had a really good run there between like 91-92 and 93-94. Um, just a couple stats to throw at you. He led the league in saves for 3 consecutive years, 91-92 through the 93-94 season, which is pretty sweet. He also led the league in goals saved above average in 92-93. It looks like it was probably his best season. Led the league in save percentage as well with a
Placed
911.
Thurston third in Vezina voting that year.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the first goalie off the board, um, and that way I can feel good about who I've got between the pipes there. Um,
It's a
and
good pick, I think.
I
He
think
would
so.
eventually go on to get Hart votes actually with the
Yeah.
Maple Leafs in 1999 and 2000. Placed fourth in
Mhm,
the Hart, second in the Vezina, and then
mhm.
the following year placed 11th in the Hart, third in the Vezina.
Yep.
And he won the King Clancy Trophy that year. So
There
you
you
know
go.
the league
So
definitely recognized his leadership qualities on and off the ice.
that's right. That's all you need to know. All right. Um, it is now your pick. What you got?
Okay, well, I think this the spine of my team is really good, and I do think there's a couple goalies I like, but I still think I'm gonna wait a little bit on the goalie
Mhm.
pick, because I think a lot of them are about equal quality ish,
Yeah.
or at least I'll be happy with who I get. And I think I need to fill out that top line,
Mm.
so I'm going recent-ish again. Another player who is quickly became a fan favorite and a franchise leader in so many stats. I'm going Vladimir Tarasenko.
Oh, man.
He is. I need a top line winger, and Prime Tarasenko was exactly that.
Yeah.
He's fifth all time in points and goals for the Blues,
Mhm.
and in his run of just utter dominance, really. I think Tarasenko is another face of that, just dominant Blues teams that really
Yeah.
bashed the league in and couldn't end up going all the way until 2019, obviously, where Tarasenko played an important part of that, to be sure. Though
Mhm.
his best years had probably left him by that point, but yeah, I mean, you look at any offensive stat for the Blues, and Tarasenko is probably going to be on that list. He was a goal scorer, and he was
Mhm.
really good at it. He is actually second in adjusted goals per Hockey Reference for the Blues, at 288, which is four ahead of my 1C 284, and doing some quick math here, 215 behind Brett Hull, who's at 503 adjusted goals. But
Yeah.
that's there's a reason he went first overall, but second
Yeah.
in that statistic is Tarasenko, and yeah, I need that first line to be filled out a little bit, so I'll put him at the right wing there.
I think that's a good pick. I think that's the pick that I was thinking about making, so I gotta give it to you.
Mhm.
That's a good pick. You're gonna slot him in at right wing? Is that what you're thinking?
Mhm. Yep.
Your top another top liner there. All right. Um, let's see here. I think I'm also gonna take a forward here because I don't think we're quite to the point where the next defenseman makes sense. It's just a matter of who I want to take at this point. I guess that's what it is at any point. Let's see. Looking at like point leaders here, Pavel Demitra looks pretty good. Let's see. That's what you notice, really. Like, there's a lot of good forwards over the years,
Mhm.
um, and there's not a whole lot like top, like really, really top level elite of anything else. Um, I
For
could go
sure.
really old school here, um, and take like the first Blues star, one of the first. Although he wasn't. I was thinking like Red Berenson, like
Oh, man.
go real old school. Just like
Wow.
I know. Um, that's probably
What a,
not a good
like,
idea.
perfect Great Depression name, Red
Yeah,
Berenson.
yeah, for
Like,
real.
that is I just know that he was enjoying his leather shoe soup for so many years. It's
It
not the
says he was
same when mom
born.
makes it.
That's right. He says he was born in '39, so he might have dodged the worst of it.
Well, that's I mean, born in the Great Depression, so that's,
Yeah, that's true.
like,
That's true.
Great Depression era name, meaning his family were like
That's true. That's
color.
true. Yes. Well, his that was his nickname. His full name was Gordon Arthur Berenson,
Ah,
but
okay. Well,
his
either
nickname
way.
was because it's Berenson. His nickname was the Red Baron. So
Oh.
they went Red. I guess maybe the nickname came because he was called Red, or I don't know. I don't know what
Mhm.
the order was there.
Still, that is just so, like, early 20th century.
I
You
know.
know, I bet his best friend's name was, like, Skip and, I don't know, elbow grease or something.
That's right. Just elbow grease. Okay, I need to make a decision here. I think I'm gonna take Tory Krug. No, I
Good
think
pick, good pick.
yeah, 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 yeah. Let's see where I would need him. I'm gonna take uh Pavel Demitra and put him on my
Okay.
left wing, second line. Just like a solid player. I'll go for his stats in a second. For his Blues tenure, he he was with the Blues from the 96-97 season through the 03-04 season. So that was his age 22 through 29 seasons. He never like really like led the league or dominated in any one thing. Just seems pretty solid, all the way around. Um, in that time span of his Blues tenure, that was definitely his prime, and he was consistently scoring 20 to 30 goals, 20 to upper 30 goals. I mean, his career high in goals was 37 in 98, 99, and pretty consistently got a lot of, a decent amount of assists as well. He, let's see, he made some all-star teams in that time. He won the Lady Byng Trophy in 99, 2000. So there you go. He got some Selkie votes in 99, 1000, 99, 2000 season. So had a good year defensively that year. He did get some Hart votes in 98, 99. So had a really good season that year. He finished 12th place in Hart voting. So his where he ranks in Blues history, he ranks seventh all time in points with 493. He had 204 goals and 289 assists during his time with the Blues. So I think that's a pretty solid pick. With what's available right now, just a solid winger for my second line. I think my top line is really solid. Really, elite actually. So I think I can. My top line is elite, Alec. So I think I can afford to to take him on my second line. If I had
All
gotten to the
right.
point where he was one of my top line guys, I think that would have been more of a red flag. But I'm feeling pretty good about it.
So, I was between two guys, but well, okay. First, I'm gonna go back to that Gary Unger question I raised earlier. So, the
Yep.
player that I was thinking about did fall to me, and I think I'm gonna select him now just to confirm.
All right.
If you would allow me to kick Unger out to the wing as a
Okay.
forward, but as someone who maybe didn't have the best defensive game, I want him scoring more goals than
Okay.
handling faceoffs and whatnot. Will you allow this?
Okay. Fine.
All right.
Which wing?
Um, well, let's see here.
Okay. How about this? I won't allow you to move him twice. So if you move him to the left and you
Oh
want to
no,
draft,
this is like where he's gonna stick.
okay.
On my top wing, I've got Tarasenko who shoots left. He also shoots left, so I don't know if I want another, but he does have the best. I mean, I feel like by raw production, he's got to be on the top line, though. I
Okay.
don't
You want
know.
him top line left winger?
I would put him there, but if you feel like he has to be second line right winger, I'll live with that either way.
No, we can put him up.
Okay, then he'll be
He's
my top
only
liner.
he's
That'll
only
fill up my
second
top
line
line.
because he was only second line because you had Federico as your
All
center
right.
already.
Then as my 2C, I'm going to select a really underrated player for his time, and I think another reason why he can kick Gary Unger out of this 2C spot is because he was a longtime captain. And so
Okay.
I've got another captain on my team. I'll be taking David Backus. I
Okay.
just have a team full of leaders and winners who know how to play the game the right way.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
but David Backus is ninth all time in points at 460. Another 2010s player who I would argue is I would say the face of the 2010s is probably like Petro Senko, and then outside of that, that's probably the tier one guys, and then tier two would be like Steen, Backus,
Yeah.
Schwartz, a couple other guys like that. But yeah, um, really solid overall game. Honestly, like really underrated defensively. He truly
Mm.
was elite for a time. Received Selke votes. So he played with the Blues. Came up with the Blues 2006. Played with them until 2016, and received Selke votes in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those seasons. So only 3 he didn't get Selke votes, and those were his first 3 seasons with the team. Highest he ended up placing was 4th in back-to-back years in 14 and 15.
Hmm.
Also, oh, I'm sorry, he placed second in 2012. Um, so great defensive forward and really good offensive game.
Hmm.
Didn't have quite as many goals or assists that like stand off the page, but was just really solid every year. Going to put up at least 50 points and do his job as a center. And yeah, Blues captain. So I'm, as I said, I'm building a team of winners.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. What are your winners gonna do when they face this top line, huh? Hmm? Hmm? You don't have anyone in goal yet.
Yeah.
Maybe so easy.
Dang it.
You already they've got an empty net, man. Okay.
Brett Hull never scored a goal in his life. It's fine. I'll just put
So we're
all my players on him, and everyone else is gonna miss the net.
uh-huh. All right. So we're at the halfway point. I think we can start to maybe pick up the pace here since we're already at
Hmm.
almost 45 minutes. We don't have to do quite as much explaining, I don't suppose. But um, again, if you're enjoying this, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We really appreciate that. Like the video. We love when people leave comments as well. We love to see those. Um, and rate us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We love to see those as well. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and take my next defenseman because it's getting to that point where I think my offense is good. I already have a goalie. I really need to start building out this defense. So I'm gonna take the first of um, Plager brothers here, I think. Let me make sure there's no one better that I'm forgetting here. Um, yeah, again, it's just like it feels like there should be someone else, right? Like,
Mhm.
but there's just
That's
not.
just
So
that's
I'm
just the
gonna take
history.
yeah, I'm gonna take Barkley Plager, and he'll be on my top pair, I suppose, with McInnes. So um, you are now on the clock. I'm gonna fill this in here.
Well, I've had this pick eyed for a while as a spot that I wanted to take this guy because I really thought it was too early. But I finally get my pick, and I'm taking my goalie,
All right.
and I'm gonna stake my claim. And this is not necessarily objective, so would love to have a discussion with you on Twitter X or in the comments about it. I think the greatest goalie in Blues history is Brian Elliott.
Ooh.
He does lead the team. As I said, a lot of older guys lead the team in goals against average. Number one in that category is Brian Elliott. He had a 201 goals against average with the Blues. Also put up a 925 save percentage. It's truly a tragedy that he never got Vezina votes. He did in one season with the Blues, but yeah, really good goalie for the early
Mm.
2010s team. And after him, with Jake Allen, well, obviously we saw Jake Allen pave the way for Jordan Binnington, the soon to be best goalie in Blues history. But the team was kind of floundering in net. So I'm going to take my guy, and I guess I just love 2010s hockey so much, but I'm taking Brian Elliott.
That's fair enough. So you get your number one goalie, pretty solid. I'm looking at a couple other 2010s guys for my next pick. Um,
I think I am too.
yeah, we might have the same guys in mind here.
Probably.
I think what I'll do. This is a tough one. I'm gonna take Alexander Steen.
Yeah,
Um,
that was what I
and
was looking at.
just in terms of like we mentioned, the lack of defense in Blues history, having a guy that got Selke votes in 7 different seasons, I think will be pretty good to have as my number two center. Um, and in about 10 years, he can be, or I guess like 5 years, he can be my GM. So I'm gonna take him. He'll be my. Oh, I forgot to write your pick down. So
Nice.
yeah, so he'll be the 15th overall pick for me, and I'll
Um,
take him as a center.
yeah, at this point, I think my board is very open. And I'm not sure where I want to go. Um, I've got a couple guys in mind. Most of them are recent. Honestly, I am also eyeing Red Berenson. Um, Let me look at my team real quick. So I have my top line filled out. I have Backus as my 2C, and I've got my top pair defense.
Hmm.
I don't know if I'm ready to pick another defenseman yet, so I think I'm going to go forward. And of the forwards, man,
Oh, real quick, while you're thinking, I just wanted to mention where he ranks in Blues history all time. Steen is sixth in total points with 496. So he's between Tarasenko and Dimitra. Probably should have taken him over Dimitra, honestly. But he's got 195 goals and 301 assists. So solid all around player.
there's a player I really want, but I don't think it's right. I think this guy is a lot better than a lot of people maybe realize. Maybe that I'm just realizing here. But he played some games for a while.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go the old bull David Perron as my second line left winger.
Here's the other guy I was
Um,
looking at, the other 2010s guy
mhm.
I was eyeing. Yeah.
Yeah, power play sniper. He
Right.
after I mean even recently, after Perron's departure from the team, this our power play has just been kind of anemic, and we're really hoping some of the young guys can take over that role. But uh, sticking with the 2010s, a lot of good players from that era, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna take Perron.
You said right wing. You're slotting him in.
I think he was a left winger,
Left winger.
I believe.
Second
I'll
line.
double check that if you want to
Cool.
take your next one.
All right. So for my next pick, let's take a look if you're watching on video at the teams again. So I've almost filled out my offense here. We're getting, close to the end here. I think what I'm going to do with this next pick is just go ahead and snag a right winger and um, close out my offense, my forward core here. And looking at like who's left, I might take a throwback pick and a somewhat sentimental pick here. Not like throwback. I'm thinking more throwback because it's the Olympics right now. I guess that gives away who I'm looking at.
I thought about it because I wanted him just because I wanted him, but
That's
yeah.
why I'm taking him is so that you can't have him. That's why I'm thinking about it anyway. So we're thinking if someone did did play a different position, like say so I need a right winger, right? Say I found a
Mhm.
left winger who shoots right. Do we think I could slot him in?
I mean, in my opinion, forwards are forwards. I think
Yeah,
they'll figure it out. Typically,
yeah,
you want the handedness to be opposite, but I think it's okay.
yeah. I'm looking at Brennan Shanahan right now. He just like didn't hit his prime until after he left. Is the only thing.
Mhm.
Like um, once he was with Detroit is like when he got good. So who else is available? Um, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it for the vibes. I'm gonna take TJ Oshie um,
Nice.
with 17th overall and fill out my forward core with that. He'll be my last forward, which means I've got some of the more gritty work to do here. So while you are doing your next pick, my forwards, my top line is Brian Sutter on left, Keith Kachuk in center, and Brett Hull in right on the right wing. Pavel Dimitro left wing, second line, Alexander Steen center, and TJ Oshie on the right. So I need two more defensemen and a goalie. Alec, you also need a right winger, two more defensemen and a goalie. So we were in the similar boat there. So which way are you going to go with your next pick?
What I really need is a defenseman. I
Yeah,
think of the guys left, I think I like Bobby Plager the best, so I'm gonna
man,
take the other one, and
I was hoping.
um, yeah, none of the guys really stand out to me, but he was a really well liked teammate and kind of an enforcer.
Yeah.
So played in the 60s and 70s. And just reading the little blurb on the Blues Hall of Fame page, it says if someone targeted a teammate, you can bet they would have to answer to defenseman Bob Plager before the game ended. Um, and so after his playing time, stayed with the organization as a front office guy. Excuse me.
hmm
So yeah, I'm gonna take the other Plager to help my second line out.
Fair enough. That's who I wanted. My plan was to take him and then um, move Barkley to the second line so that the brothers could play together. But
Gotcha.
you got me there. You sniped my pick that time. I think I need to go ahead and take a defenseman as well. Trying to find someone who isn't atrocious. No, that's harsh. That's harsh. Let's see. Like I'm looking at some more recent players, honestly. Um, I could just you know what? I think I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take Colton Parayko.
Dang
I
it.
I'm gonna Okay, good. I'm glad, I'm glad I got the guy you wanted. Um, yeah, I'm gonna take him. Obviously, he's still with the Blues, so maybe it'll be a more obvious pick as time goes on. In terms of like Blues ranks, he's 35th all time in points with 259. Um, but mostly, I am appreciating him for his defensive value here. That's why I want him. He uh, has spent his entire career with the Blues, of course, and led the league in blocks last year. So I'm getting lots of blocks, I hope. Yeah, just a solid defenseman. So I'm gonna grab him.
Well, I think I need a forward here, and honestly, I'm between two guys. Um, and it's tough to say because they're so opposite.
Yeah,
Um, and they're so close to each other on the all-time leaderboards. Mm, but I know one was an elite defender, and the other I have no way of knowing.
you have to
Um,
take red. You got to do it.
I um does that even count as hockey? I
You
mean,
gotta you gotta do it, man.
does it count as NHL? Yeah, but the other one is like one of my favorite players also. Okay. I am mm, gosh, this is so difficult. All right, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take red. I'm
Let's
gonna take
go.
the yeah, the Great Depression, baby. Um, so in
Playing
terms of
hockey,
his
see?
statistics, yeah. In terms of his statistics, what we do know is that he put up 412 points in 519 games, probably, because stats were sometimes tracked differently or shakily back then. But 172 goals, 240 assists, all with the Blues in 8 seasons between 1967 and 1978. So we started to see some more modern play towards the end of that. Um, and yeah, also he was born in Regina, Saskatchewan. So
There you go.
Red Berenson is going to be my second line winger.
All right. Hey, I think that's I think that's a great pick. I like it. Going vintage for the vibes, man.
Yeah.
Um, let's see here. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and with my pick,
Gosh.
um, finish out my defense, is what I'll do. And I'm between a few players right now. It's a tough decision, not in a good way, is the thing. Um, so I'm looking at Rob Ramage, who played in the 80s and 90s.
Hmm.
He spent like, let's see, one, two, three, four, like 5 seasons with the Blues. You know, was decent, not great. I'm also looking at Barrett Jackman, um, who played in the 2000s and 2010s. He did win the Calder in 0203. Um, yeah, I think I'll go with him just because of the longevity of that
Hmm.
pick. I'll go with Barrett Jackman and just go ahead and get my defenseman over with there. So your pick again.
All right. Oh, I think I'm going to go goalie, and I'm between two guys, but I think I'm going to pick Mike Liut. Um,
Yeah.
So of the goalies remaining, none of them really played with the team that long.
Yeah.
But Leggett was there for 6 seasons with the Blues, which is which is more than most of the remaining tenders available.
Right.
Um, Not the most impressive save percentage, 885, 359 goals against. That's okay, but placed really well in a lot of accolade voting.
Hmm.
Was 10th in Vesna in 1984, first team All Star in 1982, third team in 1980, and even got Hart votes in 1980 and 81. And those are some
Yeah.
really good Blues teams. So
Hmm.
um, also put up okay numbers when the club just took a nosedive towards the end of his Blues tenure. Still was pretty consistent. So can't say that I ever watched him play, but I think I'm going to trust him as my backup goaltender. And I like that tandem quite a bit.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty good tandem, like you said. So I have to go with the goalie. That's all I got left. I'm looking at three guys, and I can just say them since you have already taken um, both of your goalies. I'm looking at Grant Fuhr and Jordan Bennington a little bit, and also Glenn Hall. I played a long time ago,
I do know
but
who I would pick.
who?
Um, Jake
Yeah.
Allen.
Oh, of course, of course. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Joel Hofer. Obviously,
Drafting for upside.
drafting for upside. Yes, yes, yes. Um, this is tough, but it's also not a big deal because it's my second line goalie here. Um, my second goal. Hold on. Sorry, I'm just gonna take one last look. I'm gonna take Grant Fuhr. Um, was was in St. Louis towards the end of his career, between 95, 96, and 98, 99. Um, so some decent production, some solid production. Really, the highlight was that first season, 95, 96. He he led. Let's see. He led the league in saves with 1,948. Um, and also received some Vezina votes, some Hart votes. So had a really good season. And the rest of his time there had save percentages in the low 900s and upper 800s. So pretty solid. I think looking at like his career, those were some of the best season long save percentages that he put up. So um, that's who I'll take. And that's my team.
All right. I am left to a defenseman, and I don't know that I love any of the remaining options. Um, I think honestly, I'm gonna go a little bit off the board here, and I'm looking at two recent guys. Both played
Hmm.
it for the 2010s. Unsurprisingly, perhaps. And I'm gonna go for someone who honestly stuck around the league a lot longer than he should, and I don't believe he's signed right now, but I would not be surprised if he ended up signing somewhere. Um, Played for the Blues for 7 years, put up 258 points in 425 games, and always had a um, pretty solid defensive game. Received Norris votes in 1, 2, 3 seasons with the Blues, which is more than anyone else on the board. So I'm going to pick Kevin Shattenkirk as my
All right.
remaining defenseman.
All right. Let's see here. So that's it. We did it.
That's our teams.
We drafted our teams there. Okay, you filled it in there. I'm gonna write it here for posterity's sake. All right. So if you're watching uh, on YouTube, this is our draft board. You've been watching along. Let's take one last look at our teams here. So on this um, This is like in development camp, like Team Kachuk versus, like Team John is top line. Let's see. Left wing, Brian Sutter. Center, Keith Kachuk. Right wing, Brett Hull. Second line offensively, Pavel Demitra, Alexander Steen, TJ Oshie. Top D pairing for Team John is Al McInnes and Barclay Plager. And second pair is Colton Pareko and Barrett Jackman, while Curtis Joseph will be my number one goalie, and Grant Fuhr will be the backup. I'm feeling pretty good about this one, mostly, offensively. I think it's a little shaky. Oh goodness, hit my mic. A little shaky on the defensive side. Beyond that top guy. So I'm feeling pretty good about this team. I think Alexander Steen can come back and help on defense. And I think they're going to score a lot of goals. Additionally, between the pipes, I feel decent with Curtis Joseph there, and Grant Fuhr to back him up in case he has a bad night or something, or isn't quite himself or something like that. So, what you want to say about your team, Alec? You want to go through it?
I will say, well, first of all, your team, I think it is probably the best second place team I've ever seen.
Oh, that's crazy.
Also, I do want to shout out my second right wing spot. I picked Red Berenson, but Jaden Schwartz was the other name that I was going back and forth on. Leads in adjusted plus minus, and I just was such a fan of his. Anyways, my team. So top line center, I've got Bernie Fedorko. On the left wing with him, I got Gary Unger, and right wing is Tarasenko. Second center is David Backus. Perron on the left wing there, and Red Berenson on the right wing. He's got some new friends to make, and maybe we'll learn about the internet. But
that's right.
My defensive core, I actually really like my defensive core. I really like all four of my defensemen. Honestly, I don't think there are any major holes here. So my top pair guys are Chris Pronger and Alex Pietrangelo. Both just elite two-way guys. Pronger, I guess, more offensive, but still like had some good seasons defensively. And then second pair, I've got Kevin Shattenkirk and Bob Plager. And then in goal, I've got Brian Elliott and Mike Lute. So excuse me. So I really like how solid my team turned out. With some serious offensive upside. With we both picked all-time greats here, so obviously there's talent on both teams. But Pronger and Pietrangelo serving up passes or scoring from the blue line, along with playing with guys like Fedorko, Unger, Tarasenko, all on the top line were really, really good offensive threats. And even my second line, they could carry a series probably. So I have no worries with Brian Elliott in goal. He's my guy. Maybe that's a hot take, but as I said, he's my guy that I want. So, that's my team.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop sharing here real quick. So I think it's safe to say that both these teams are amazing. Obviously, mine a little bit more so. So if you're watching along or listening, comment below with who you think drafted the better team. I think you can leave comments on Spotify now as well. So whose team is better? Who would win head to head? Let us know what you think of our picks. Did we leave anyone out who got snubbed? Throw some of that in there as well. We really appreciate all the engagement there. So we're gonna continue to try to create Blues content throughout the off season. We know that people can get a little starved for hockey content during the summer, so we're going to try to keep it up, and so that way, all our listeners and viewers have some consistent, things to tune back into. So we appreciate all of the support in that way. If you haven't already, like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, give us a 5-star rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. We're also on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Note News Pod. So give us a follow there and follow along with us. We really appreciate all that. So that'll do it for us on this episode of Note News. We'll see you next time. Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.